Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive.
Great to be diving in again.
Today we're tackling something big. The Quartermain family drama. It's sprawling decades of history, right?
Absolutely. And specifically, we're zeroing in on the mansion,
Right.
the inheritance, the current mess.
Exactly. We've got sources, quite a stack actually, detailing what looks like a major inheritance fraud. It involves blackmail, a fake will. It's putting the mansion itself at risk.
That's right. So our mission today for you listening is kind of twofold. First, we need to figure out the immediate situation. Why is the house even on the market right now? Who's pulling the strings?
The dirty mechanics, basically. The blackmailer, the seller who doesn't want to sell.
Precisely. But then second, and this is where it gets really fascinating, I think.
Hmm.
Who did Monica Quartermain actually want to have the house in her real will, the one Mark tampered with?
That shift from the current fraud to Monica's real legacy, that's the core of this deep dive, isn't it?
That's the heart of it.
And right in the middle of this current crisis, trying to scoop up the prize, is Drew Kane.
Drew. Yeah, the sources we have are, well, let's just say they're not fans.
Not at all. He's described as smug, and he's apparently making no secret of his plan. Buy the mansion and then, and I quote the sources here, throw all the other cues out.
Wow. That's
Okay.
audacious is one word for it. It's a power play, pure and simple.
He's being painted very negatively.
Yeah.
Creepy Congressman Cutthroat. Lots of references to him being calculating.
Yeah, the sources definitely lean that way. They see him treating this like some kind of hostile takeover, maybe trying to cement his position or something. But it sounds like he's burning bridges with, well, basically his entire family in the process.
He seems to think the paperwork he has makes it a done deal.
He does. He thinks it's all legal, ironclad. But that's the twist, isn't it?
It is, because the sources strongly suggest that paperwork is fundamentally flawed. It's built on lies. So the
Yeah.
big question, the one driving this whole situation is, can Drew actually pull this off?
Given how corrupt the sources say the deal is at its core.
Right. Will he succeed with this, let's call it, arrogant takeover? Or is karma going to step in? There's talk, spoilers even, suggesting a swift kick coming from karma.
Well, based on the setup described in our sources.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like the whole plot is practically engineered for spectacular failure in his part.
Okay, let's dig into that failure mechanism first. The current sale. It's not legitimate, is it? It's all about coercion and fraud.
Absolutely. The house is on the market purely because of Martin Gray's scheme. He's orchestrated this whole thing.
And the person supposedly selling, Ronnie Bard, she's not doing it willingly.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Ronnie is the central pawn here. On paper, she's the seller, the beneficiary who inherited the mansion.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, Martin Gray is twisting her arm. Hard.
How? What's the leverage?
Prison. Martin's explicitly threatening her with jail time unless she goes through with selling the mansion specifically to Drew. It all ties back to some previous conspiracy they were involved in. If that comes out, Ronnie's done for.
Wow. So she's trapped. Sell the house against her conscience or risk prison?
Exactly. And the sources really emphasize her conflict. She apparently likes the Quartermains. He doesn't want to betray them, definitely doesn't want to dishonor Monica's memory. And she certainly doesn't want to sell to Drew, who, let's face it, isn't exactly Mr. Popularity in Port Charles.
It's a classic moral bind. Her freedom versus doing the right thing. But Martin's got her cornered.
He does. So she has no real choice. She has to play the part, pretend she's just this beneficiary who wants to cash out, grab the money, and run away from all the Quartermain drama.
And this wasn't just a private deal, right? It blew up publicly.
Oh, big time. Drew, in his typical fashion, apparently showed up at the mansion and just announced it. Told everyone Ronnie had agreed to sell to him. You can imagine the reaction.
Chaos. And Tracy Quartermain? She must have exploded.
Predictably, yeah. The sources say Tracy flipped out the most, which makes sense. She often sees herself as the guardian of the family legacy, especially the house.
So what did she do?
Apparently, she just laid into Ronnie. The sources say she chewed Ronnie a new one, accusing her point blank of dishonoring Monica. Just brutal.
And Ronnie, what could she even say?
She had to stick to the script, right? Maintain her cover, claimed she just wanted out, didn't want to be involved in the Quartermain drama, planned to sell and leave Port Charles, all while knowing she was being blackmailed. Couldn't breathe a word of it.
It's a terrible position, but here's the crucial part, the legal flaw.
Yes. What's fascinating here, and this is why the whole thing is doomed to fail, the entire sale is built on fraud. A foundational fraud. Martin faked the will.
He made it look like Ronnie inherited the house.
Exactly. But the sources are clear. The only thing Monica actually left Ronnie in her real, untampered will, it was just a locket, a sentimental item, not the multi-million-dollar mansion.
So, legally speaking, Ronnie never actually owned the house.
Precisely. And this is the key legal point, the kind of detail we look for in a deep dive. To sell real estate, especially something like the Quartermaine Mansion, you need title. Clear, legal, recorded ownership.
Which Ronnie never got because the will giving it to her was fake.
Correct. Martin's alteration means she never acquired legitimate title. The probate court was essentially defrauded. The estate was defrauded. Drew isn't just buying a house with some drama attached.
He's trying to buy a title that doesn't actually exist in a legally sound way.
Fundamentally, yes. It means the whole transaction, even if money changes hands, even if papers get signed, it can't legally stand in the long run. Basic property law, inheritance law. It's all against this deal, that lack of legitimate title. That's the fatal flaw in Drew's plan.
So he's pouring potentially millions into a deal based on a fraudulent title chain.
Seems like it. Which, when you think about it, the level of arrogance or maybe just blindness required to push forward despite all the red flags, it's kind of staggering. It guarantees this massive public implosion when the truth comes out.
And it sounds like that implosion is coming soon.
That's what the spoilers suggest.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Because, official spoilers are apparently already hinting that Drew's plan hits a major snag, like very soon.
A big setback by the end of the week is what the sources mention.
And all signs, all the speculation points to one person being the catalyst for this karmic justice. Cody Bell.
Cody.
No.
Now, his motivation isn't complicated at all, is it?
Not according to these sources. It's described as pure personal animosity. He absolutely despises Drew.
So for Cody, stopping this sale isn't just about helping the Quartermaines, though maybe that's part of it. It's personal revenge. He wants to take Drew down.
The sources actually pinpoint the origin of this hatred. It's pretty specific. Apparently, Cody found out Drew was involved with Nina Reeves, while also making moves on Willow Tate, trying to seduce her away from Michael Corinthos.
Oof. Okay, yeah, that's messy. So Cody sees Drew as completely unscrupulous.
Worse than that, like an opportunistic hypocrite, someone who undermines his own family, specifically Michael and Willow's relationship, for his own gain. Calculated, selfish, a danger to the family unit. That's the picture painted.
Okay, that explains the intensity. That kind of perceived betrayal fuels a serious grudge. Makes Cody's intervention feel almost inevitable.
And how is he intervening? What's his plan?
The spoilers suggest he takes a legal route. He gets some legal advice. Speculation is heavy that he goes to Molly Lansing Davis.
Makes sense. She's the family's go-to legal assistant DA now, right?
Right. So Cody's likely looking for the quickest, most effective legal tool to stop this thing dead in its tracks. Our analysis suggests he'd be looking for something like an injunction.
Or challenging the probate filing itself.
Exactly. If Cody, maybe with Michael or Tracy, can bring Molly even a shred of evidence suggesting the will was tampered with, they might not even need to know Martin's whole role yet. They could challenge Ronnie's legitimacy as executor.
Challenge the signature, the chain of title, anything to raise doubt.
Yes. Any credible challenge would force the court to hit pause and investigate. That immediately freezes the sale, puts a legal hold on everything.
So, if Cody gets an injunction, Drew is stopped before he hands over the money. That's clean, efficient. Embarrassing for Drew, but maybe less financially catastrophic.
That's one path, a clean stop. Humiliating, yes, but perhaps Drew could regroup.
But there's another possibility, isn't there? The one that really brings the karma hammer down?
Oh, yeah. The second option is far more dramatic and financially devastating for Drew. It delivers that delicious, delicious slap from karma the sources talk about.
And that is?
The retroactive cancellation. Imagine this. Drew pays. He hands over literally millions of dollars to Ronnie. She takes the money, maybe splits it with Martin as planned, and disappears.
Okay.
Then, after the money's gone, the full fraud is exposed, maybe the real will surfaces or Martin's role comes out. The court officially declares the sale void because Ronnie never had the title to sell.
So Drew paid millions for nothing.
Exactly nothing. He loses the entire pile of cash because the asset he thought he bought, the title, never legal transfer. Poof, gone.
And the house
stays with the estate, eventually going to the rightful heir once the dust settles. Drew gets neither the house nor his money back. Plus, imagine the public humiliation. Tracy, Michael, everyone who warned him or who he planned to kick out.
Oh, they'd have a field day. The sources specifically mention them rubbing it in Drew's face when it all blows up on him.
You bet they would. So this outcome ensures Drew, most certainly not, ends up owning the Quartermain mansion. He loses the money, loses the house, and loses face. Big time.
The financial risk in these fraudulent schemes is just immense, isn't it? Especially with real estate.
Absolutely. Millions of dollars are on the line. This scenario perfectly highlights that schemes built on lies, especially concerning property title, carry potentially catastrophic financial and reputational consequences. It's a calculated gamble that looks set to end in total disaster for Drew.
Okay, so assuming Drew's plan crashes and burns, which seems likely, that brings us back to the core mystery, the big question driving all the family speculation.
Who did Monica really want to inherit the Quartermain mansion?
Right, we have to move past the dirty deal and try to figure out her actual intent. Since Martin destroyed the evidence, we're relying on, well, character analysis, motivations, emotional history.
Exactly. It's like forensic psychology for soap opera characters. We have to examine Monica's relationships, her priorities, her view of the family's future. What legacy did she want to leave? The sources suggest 4, maybe 5, really strong possibilities, all very different.
Okay, let's break them down. Option 1 seems to focus on recent events. Jason Morgan.
The prodigal son angle. Yeah, this one's rooted deep in family history and Monica's personal feelings.
Explain that. Why Jason?
Well, Monica always saw Jason as her one last living child, right? Even though he wasn't biologically hers in the end. Their bond was intense. And remember, Alan Quartermain, Jason's biological father, originally bought that house.
So leaving it to Jason honors Alan's legacy too.
Potentially, yes. But more than that, Monica always wanted Jason back in the family fold. Truly back, leaving him the house. It's the ultimate anchor. It ensures he would stay, giving him a permanent place, a reason not to drift away again. It's a powerful gesture of reconciliation and belonging.
That makes emotional sense, but the sources also called it not the soapiest outcome.
Right. It's almost too neat, perhaps. It solves Jason's situation, gives him roots, but maybe doesn't ripple through the rest of the family drama quite as much as other options might.
Okay, so what's option 2? If not Jason.
Option 2 skips a generation entirely. The grandkids.
All of them.
Equally, it's the speculation, left equally to Danny Morgan, Scout Kane, Jake Weber, and Michael Corinthos, the 4 biological grandkids.
That feels very forward-looking, securing the house for the future generation.
Exactly. Monica was always concerned about the Q legacy continuing. This would be a way to ensure the house remains a central point for all branches of the family. The thinking is it might be structured as a trust.
With maybe Jason or Michael as executor until they all come of age.
Something like that. Each grandchild gets a quarter share. It effectively locks the property up, prevents any one person from selling it off or making drastic changes. It becomes a true family seat for the future, representing the Morgans, Kanes, Webers, and Corinthos Quartermains.
A very collective approach. Interesting. What's option 3?
Option 3 brings it back to the present day, focusing on stability and continuity. Ned Quartermain and Olivia Falconeri.
The current caretakers, in a way?
Pretty much. The rationale here is very practical. Monica might have seen Ned and Olivia as the natural successors, the next Edward and Leela Quartermain. Ned handles the business side, often the voice of reason, while Olivia, she's the heart of the home now, isn't she? Hosting the holidays, keeping the family together.
So Monica would trust them to maintain the house as a family hub.
Implicitly. The idea is they'd keep it warm, welcoming, chaotic, the usual Q style, open to everyone. Well, maybe with one specific exclusion.
Let me guess. Drew.
Sources specifically mention excluding Drew, but otherwise, a place for everyone. And there's this lovely little detail mentioned in the speculation.
Go on.
If Ned and Olivia got it, Olivia would finally get to install that pizza oven she's been wanting, kind of symbolizing her official status as the mansion's matriarch.
Ah, that's a nice touch. Okay, pizza ovens aside, what's option 4?
Option 4 carries a huge amount of emotional weight, tied directly to Monica's past and her relationship with her son, AJ. This option is Michael Corinthos.
Michael, AJ's son.
Exactly. And the sources remind us Tracy actually wanted Michael to get the house. But Monica's reason would be deeper. Michael is AJ's only child. Monica always considered Michael the apple of her eye.
Her relationship with AJ was fraught. Tragic, really.
Immensely so. Monica carried a lot of guilt over how things ended with AJ. Leaving the mansion to Michael? It could be seen as her final act of making amends. Fully embracing AJ's legacy through his son, acknowledging that branch of the family in the most significant way possible.
That resonates. It honors AJ, validates his place in the Q history.
Absolutely. And it works politically, too, within the family dynamics described. Tracy would likely still live there. She'd be thrilled it went to Michael and his kids. And let's be honest, Tracy would still find ways to boss everybody around. So it ticks a lot of boxes. Sentiment, history, current politics, future generation.
4 strong contenders. Jason, the grandkids, Ned and Olivia, Michael. Each makes a certain kind of sense, but you said there might be a 5th.
Yes. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, thinking about what makes for the most compelling, dramatic storytelling, the kind soap operas thrive on.
Yeah.
There's one more possibility mentioned. It carries maybe the most emotional weight of all.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the 5th, potentially wildest and soapiest outcome?
This one involves acknowledging the most complex female relationship in Monica's life. Option 5 is Tracy Quartermaine.
Tracy. After everything, Monica leaving the house to Tracy.
But wait, there's a twist. A crucial reversion clause.
Oh, okay. Explain the structure.
The idea is Monica leaves the mansion to Tracy, but only for Tracy's lifetime. So Tracy gets undisputed control, gets to be the matriarch she always wanted to be, living in the manor. It's a massive gesture.
But only temporary.
Exactly. Upon Tracy's passing, the ownership would automatically revert to someone else. And that someone else, Michael Corinthos, Monica's only biological grandchild.
Wow. Okay, that is dramatic. Tracy gets it first, then Michael.
It's incredibly layered. Think about the history. Monica and Tracy's rivalry was legendary, often centered on that house. The sources even recall Monica rubbing it in Tracy's face, that Alan left the mansion to her, Monica. And how many times did Monica toss Tracy out?
Countless times. It was their battleground.
So for Monica to leave it to Tracy first, it's a stunning act of forgiveness. It acknowledges the sisterhood, however complicated, that actually grew between them in recent years. They bonded, leaned on each other through crises. This would be Monica recognizing that, trusting Tracy finally.
A redemption arc for their entire relationship, symbolized by the house.
Precisely. It honors their bond, gives Tracy her moment as the Q matriarch. But then, by having it revert to Michael, Monica secures her own biological line's claim to the family seat. It connects Alan, AJ, and Michael directly to the home's future.
It really does cover all the bases, doesn't it? History, redemption, legacy. The sources called it the most soapy and dramatic choice, and I can see why. It resolves old conflicts while setting up a clear future path.
It feels like the kind of complex, emotionally charged decision Monica might make, especially reflecting on her life and legacy.
So what does this all mean? We started this deep dive looking at Drew Kane's, frankly, audacious plan to seize the Quartermaine mansion. His smugness, the sources called it.
Driven by Martin Gray's blackmail scheme against poor Ronnie Bard.
Right. We dissected that fraud, how Ronnie never had legal title, making the sale invalid from the start. Then we looked at how Cody Bell, fueled by personal hatred for Drew, is poised to bring it all crashing down, likely using legal means.
Leading to Drew's big setback, potentially losing millions and facing massive humiliation.
And that cleared the way for the real mystery. Who did Monica actually intend to inherit the mansion? We explored the cases for Jason, the grandkids as a collective, Ned and Olivia, Michael.
And finally, that incredibly potent 5th option, Tracy, with the house ultimately reverting to Michael, honoring both sisterhood and bloodline.
So the bottom line is, the fate of the Quartermaine mansion really hangs on exposing Martin's fraud, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Until that happens, technically the threat remains. But all signs, especially the spoilers about Drew's setback, point towards the fraud being revealed relatively soon, stopping the sale and keeping the family in their home.
And Drew is left footing the bill for his failed scheme, potentially losing millions.
Which brings us to a final thought, something for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. We've focused on the fallout for Drew, the karmic kickback he's supposedly getting.
Yeah.
But what about the architect of the whole mess, Martin Gray? He concocted the scheme. He stood to profit alongside Ronnie. If Drew loses millions and faces public ruin because of Martin's failed plan.
Drew's not exactly the forgiving type, especially not a character described as Congressman Cutthroat.
Precisely. So what happens to Martin? What kind of professional or legal setback does he face? And maybe more interestingly, what kind of personal retribution might he face from a very angry, very humiliated, and potentially very vengeful Drew Kane, who just lost a fortune because of him?
That's the secondary karma, isn't it? Martin might have dodged the immediate bullet, but Drew's wrath. That could be a whole other story.
Something to keep an eye on, definitely.
Yeah.
The ripples from this failed scheme could spread further than we think.
A fascinating angle to end on. Well, that covers the blackmail, the potential heirs, and the coming karmic collision. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the Quartermaine chaos.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.